Hi, friends. It's Beth here from Aging Care Solutions, offering experience guidance for caregivers and seniors and their families. So, today I wanted to touch on a couple things. It's really about using your window of opportunity to introduce your family member if your ultimate goal is that you do not think they can live at home any longer, or maybe they're getting closer to not being able to manage themselves at home, and what that window could look like. Many times, a hospital stay will be one avenue to be able to talk to your loved one about potentially making a transition to a more managed environment. If if you're in the hospital and that person cannot safely discharge home, many times what they'll do, a discharge planner, you can ask the attending, you know, is it possible that my mother or my dad can go to a subacute rehab for physical therapy or occupational therapy, wound care, nursing, oversight, so that they'll have more time, so that you'll have more time to decide. It'll do two things. It'll continue to have them healing. It'll continue to have them have the services that they want, which is going to be probably physical therapy, depending on what brought them to the hospital. If it was a fall, if it was mismanagement of their medications, if they are dehydrated because they're not managing themselves properly with food and hydration intake. It could really be indicative of them not being able to live alone. So one of the things that we would do, that I would see happen, in my various positions and jobs in home health and home care, was seeing that families would use that stay at a rehab while that person's still recovering, getting their balance. They would kind of use that as an introduction to, or a bridge, if you will, bridging to see what assisted living look like. What does it look like to actually, I'm here right now rehabbing because I had a fall and I fractured my ankle or I broke my wrist or whatever I did. But there are certain ways that you can have conversations with the social worker. You can talk to the people on campus and just say, you know what, this might be an opportunity for us to try to see, get my mom involved a little bit, have them see what it's like to actually live on this campus. What is it like to, what's offered? So maybe there's live entertainment that's offered one day, and then there's something else that takes place, maybe some sort of activity or something that's going on. And a lot of times it's a great opportunity to try to let them see the various portions of the campus, and what it would be like to live there. Like she might observe, or they might observe, a seated yoga class, or they could maybe participate in something that's taking place. I feel like there's a way for people to really use it as an optimal time to introduce that person to it, especially if they have the resources to pay for it and they really aren't safe at home. I mean, I used to tell families, there's a lot of different options, but it's not the same. It's not the same as living home, but it's either that they come live with you, you go live with them, you hire care to come in and provide them support, during their wakeful hours, or they transition to an assisted living. Sometimes, some of these campuses offer various levels of care. There could be dementia care and memory care in one wing. There could be just assisted living in another. There's sometimes people move in and they're independent. They're still driving. They have their pet, and they're renting an apartment, or they rent a little cottage on campus. But if you're looking for a way to try to introduce your loved one to, to assisted living and how it might benefit them, having a rehab stay at an assisted living that offers that would be a great strategy. And now, not every subacute rehab or a rehab offers assisted living. A lot of times, a rehab facility is really in a long term nursing care facility. So they'll have some beds dedicated to residents who are there because they have a high medical need, and it is considered long term, nursing, 3 shifts of nurses or 2 shifts of nursing round the clock. And they're there because they have that need. And the other people that are there are just there for a short time. They had a surgery, they had a hip surgery, or they had a fall or an infection that did not allow them to go directly home from the hospital. So that's more of a nursing care facility. But at some of these assisted livings or at some of these larger facilities, you will see all different types and levels of care that are there. My father-in-law was at a hospital about an hour away, and I advised my ex-husband, I said, you are going to be going back and forth, for care plan meetings, for just updates and things like that, just bringing him things, checking on him. My advice to you is bring him closer so that after work, you're able to easily stop. You can stop on the weekends, much easier. It worked out perfectly. And within a short time, he actually, they moved him here. We moved him here to be closer to family, so that his oversight was going to be easier. And since then, he's made friends. He started participating in things, but it's not the same. It's not the same for him, obviously, not being in the town that he grew up in. But again, it's sort of doing what's going to be best for the entire family, and overseeing somebody where you can be there for them more frequently and do things, celebrations and holidays and things like that. Sometimes it's just, you sort of have to do, what you have to do. But so that's really what I wanted to talk about, is navigating a rehab stay. And some of what you're going to get, you're going to have to do the work, number one, because you are there typically for 21 days is usually one of the longest stays that you'll get. If Medicare is still holding to 100-day yearly total for hospital and rehab, then a lot of people may use all their 100 days. They may have multiple hospital visits, multiple rehab visits, and it sort of becomes, a revolving door. But what you'll get at a rehab facility is physician oversight. Of course, you'll have nursing care. Some of the services that you could be offered would be physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, wound care, which would fall under the nursing care. For your surgical site, nutritional support. There's also pastoral care. So some of these other things that are there, and also social work engagement. So, a social worker could be somebody that you talk with on the regular, especially if you're overseeing your family member. You can do your monthly or your weekly care plan meetings with the team to see, how is my loved one doing? Are they progressing? Are they showing recovery? Are they showing progressive improvement? Because if they're not, then Medicare will not cover it. If you are not showing restorative progress, if the notes are showing that you are walking less and not able to do what you were doing before, they will discharge you. You'll be discharged home, because they want to see that you are doing the work, that you are able to start regaining your strength. So there's just things that you have to be cognizant of when you personally or your loved one is being transferred to a rehab. That it'll typically be about 3 weeks. Sometimes it's 21 days. Sometimes it's 10 days. It just depends on how well you're doing. But anyway, that's my experience with navigating rehabs. I was on it. I definitely would encourage you to know who your social worker is, know who the team is that's typically seeing your loved one. I would usually send photographs. I would snap a photo and send it to the family, especially if they were not living close by, so they could see that their mom was happy, to see that their dad was doing well, and just know that he, was looking forward to going home, or considering that they might stay. And a lot of times you can do it as almost like a respite stay. After they're done with their rehab, can they stay for 30 days just to see what it's like? Maybe they can. A lot of people, they kind of look at it like a hotel stay. All their meals, every meal is prepared. There's, social engagement. There's a lot more eyes on that person. There's, you know, it is just a great way to try to navigate that stay and turn it into, if it's needed, potentially a transfer into assisted living. So I hope this information was helpful. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm trying to grow this channel, and I really need to get people to subscribe, so that if you could help me out, it would really give me the fuel that I need to keep researching more specific topics, things that I ran into as a caregiver for 10 years for my grandmother and my mother, as well as an industry professional in the home health, home care space. So I look forward to bringing more information in the future, and I'll see you at the next video. Bye.